Hey guys, Liquid here, and welcome back to Let's Answer Some Questions. As always, post questions below, and I will answer them next week. Let us get started. Milky Ray asks, who's your favorite James Bond actor? And also, would you do a Let's Play of GoldenEye Source? Now, first off, GoldenEye Source, I've never heard of this. I'm assuming that it's like a remake of GoldenEye in the Source engine, which I'll have to look into this a bit more, but sounds like it could be interesting. It seems like it's okay. GoldenEye Source. I just really read about it. Total Conversion mod developed using Valve Source engine. GoldenEye Source is a multiplayer remake of the 1997 Nintendo 64 game GoldenEye 007, itself based on the James Bond film GoldenEye. Apparently, it was released 2010. I guess so can you just like get it and download? Seems like it could be interesting. I will consider taking a look at it at some point. But as for who my favorite James Bond actor was, honestly, I'm not quite sure if because I did that GoldenEye Let's Play way back in the day. I'm not really sure if in that Let's Play I made myself out to be like some sort of big James Bond fan. Because I've only actually seen a few films, and I think honestly all the ones that I've seen have been Sean Connery films. Like if I made, because I feel like, especially around that time, I used to perhaps try to pretend that I knew more about things that I was unfamiliar with. Like I might have like pretended to know more about James Bond or something, just to seem in the know, whereas I had actually not really seen that many films. Okay, Doctor No, I'm the type of person where if I try to get into like a series, I like to go from the beginning. Like if there's like a new, like if I were to want to watch Spectre, for example, I would watch it would be after I watched all the others first. I'm not the type of person to like recently like some Monster Hunter game came out, and like people are all like, oh yeah, this is like a really good game, like a game to drop in on, and I'm just like, if I were to get into it, I would go way back to the beginning. Like I was like that with like Final Fantasy, like pretty soon after I did play other Final Fantasy first, but as soon as I had the means to, I went back and played the original. Like with that little tangent aside, yeah, I watched Doctor No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger. I'm not sure I think that might be honestly it. I remember liking Goldfinger because I remember liking there's like a I watched the three of them like in a row in like 2009, I think. And so my memory's a bit rusty, but I remember like there being some sort of like golf thing where GoldenEye and like James Bond and Goldfinger were like playing golf together or something. Now I really can't remember too much other than that. I remember Odd Job, like Pussy Galore apparently was the love interest, but like I've completely forgotten about that. I would have to go back and whatnot. But so I guess I suppose I would just say Sean Connery, just because it's the one I'm most familiar with, and as well as just always I'm a stickler for the original, I suppose. And James Edition asks, he comments about Mepsi and says, thank you for answering the question. You're welcome. Have I seen Logan? I have not seen Logan. I may have heard good things about it. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard too much about it at all. Honestly, I don't really pay attention to too much movie stuff. Let's see what was it? Reception. Critical response, a 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But I want to say like I remember there being there might have been something else, but remember Logan and like War for the Planet of the Apes. I think that was the one that came out. Is that like they had this kind of theme of protecting like some sort of fella protecting like a little girl, or at least like that's what it looked like from like the advertising. Because like I haven't seen the that Planet of the Apes movie either, but War for the Planet of the Apes, is this right? Yes, it is. Like in all the advertising, it's like, you know, he's got this girl with her, with him, and so like it reminded me of The Last of Us. But other than that, I really don't know anything about it. It's just, if not, I would highly recommend watching it. I'll you know, put it on like there's a lot. There's still so many like things that, you know, are on this sort of like to-do list to check out. Also, could I do a let's play of X-Men 2: Wolverine's Revenge and or X-Men Legends? Now, X-Men Legends, I'm not sure if I played either of these games. I played an X-Men game from like 2004-ish. I remember like there was a game where you could. The one that I played, it was like you played as like Nightcrawler, Iceman, and Wolverine. I don't think that was this one, but I have seen gameplay. Like I remember being at someone's house while they were playing this one. I think because I remember they were fighting this guy called Wendigo or something like that. Wendigo. Yeah, Wendigo here. I'm not sure what would the X2. Home media. Oop. Video games. Ooh, I can find it. X-Men Legends, I believe, is like, isn't from like the looks of it, it's this top down view, and it reminds me of like a Spider-Man friend or foe type thing. That's like the sort of like the image I get. Oh yeah, there's the X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I think that's actually, I think it got some pretty good reviews, like for being like a, you know, a movie-based game and whatnot. So I might check that one out at some point. What's that? What am I thinking of? X-Men Legend. What's X-Men Destiny? Yeah, I think I might have heard of that. X-Men Destiny. I remember hearing it wasn't that great or something. X-Men, X-Men the official game. I think this was the one I played. Yeah, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Iceman. Or X3 the official game. And so I could check those out at some point, but you know, it probably wouldn't be anytime soon. Red Hood 440 asks, you should play that Superman Returns game. I'll make note of it. You know, it was Superman Return. I was thinking of Superman 64 at first, but I actually have played the Superman Returns game for PS2. And I played it in ages, but you know, that could be interesting. Like I'm trying to like remember, because I remember like that was one of the first games that I sort of played that was, because at the time like I wasn't really allowed to play things like, you know, Grand Theft Auto and whatnot, and so I remember like open world games for me, like obviously I played you know, Spider-Man 2 and whatnot, but like open world games for me were kind of few and far between, just because, you know, a lot of them are, you know, Grand Theft Auto style, you know, crime simulators, so to speak, or whatever. But yeah, I remember. I think I remember like having fun, like flying around Metropolis and like like burning, or like using laser vision on like gas stations or whatever. I remember like I would because I remember it being, I think I got it for like Christmas of 2006 or so, and whatever. Yeah, I think it would have been 2006, and I remember I think I remember like it was something that I really wanted. Like I'd been you know, expecting it, or like up until Christmas I like been like watching, you know, YouTube videos or whatever, like waiting for like of the game, because it just looks so cool to me. So I'll keep that in mind. What Katz asks, what is one of your favorite games that you've played recently? These days, probably what I've been playing quite a bit recently is this game called Door Kickers, which is kind of this strategic police game, I guess you would call it. Like it's a lot like a SWAT 4, which I've done videos of, but I have not done like a full let's play of, because mainly because the videos I did were like with other people. But Door Kickers is like this top-down game where you play as a SWAT team, and your goal is to like infiltrate into like some sort of criminal thing and, you know, save hostages and whatnot, and it's pretty fun. S Sneaky Viper asks, what was the first Star Wars movie you ever saw, and have you seen the newer ones? The first Star Wars film that I ever saw was A New Hope. You know, the original Star Wars, 1977. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was maybe 6 or 7. Like, I can't remember how old I was. Yeah, I had to be. Yeah, I was probably around 7 or 8, maybe, and maybe 6. I was pretty young, and I saw it on. It was on television, and like one of my folks, like I remember like watching it with one of my folks. And I remember I didn't really care for it too much, like when I first saw it. Like I want to say I might have even like left the room at some point and like come back when at the ending or something like that. Like I didn't really at the time, it just didn't really do too much for me. And then I sort of got back into the series with when episode 3 came out. You know, the whole advertising thing was going on, and I remember, you know, everyone was so excited for it. I want to say, when did it come out? It was either when I was in 4th grade or 5th grade, because I remember like, cause I definitely remember talking about it with people in 5th grade, but I remember seeing advertisement for it. Like, cause I remember like my 4th grade math teacher had like an Obi-Wan, like had the characters on like her drinking glass or something, and I remember like seeing the characters and not really knowing who they were, cause like I remember like talking to like a friend who was really into Star Wars, and like, cause like the whole thing, cause at the time I actually didn't know that the whole thing of like, you know, 4, 5, and 6 came out first, and then 1, 2, and 3. I actually wasn't really familiar with that, and so when I watched A New Hope, I just thought that was the first movie, and because like you know, technically it was, you know, the first movie that ever came out, and so I remember like trying to like talk to, you know, whenever I would talk to people at school about it, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I saw the one where like, you know, spoilers, you know, Obi-Wan, like Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan. And the people would correct me, basically. Oh, no, that's not the first one. You know, like that was when, you know, Qui-Gon or like you know, Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon, and like, you know, no, and I was like, no, like the one that I saw was Obi-Wan, and so I was always confused about it, but eventually, you know, I got sort of set straight, and I want to say that before I definitely watched through the films. I think, you know, like I like rented them all. Like 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 and whatnot, and like watched them before Revenge of the Sith came out, and I might have like watched them in a weird order. Like I might have like watched 2 first, and then like it was all weird, and like watched like some, because like I remember like, the first time I watched Phantom Menace, I think was because it came on television or something. But then eventually, you know, I'd watched them all or whatever, and then Revenge of the Sith did eventually come out, and I want to say I watched Revenge of the Sith twice in theaters, and like I was really big into it, you know, for a while, you know, the whole Star Wars thing. Like I got like Star Wars Battlefront, the Revenge of the Sith game and whatnot, and but I sort of lost like I wouldn't say I lost interest, but I just haven't really been into Star Wars like seriously in a while. You know, I've played through a couple like Star Wars games, like, you know, Lego Star Wars and whatnot, which I've got Let's Plays of. But maybe around, you know, I'd say like maybe like like a year or so out from, you know, Revenge of the Sith, I just sort of like didn't really have too much interest in it. But I did like, you know, like the games like Battlefront and whatnot. But how I've seen the newer ones, I've seen Force Awakens. I've seen like episode 7, and I seemed like an alright movie and whatnot. Like I know like I know a lot of people are very like divided on like 7 and 8. I know like especially the one that's just come out, Last Jedi. I know is like apparently, you know, some people are just like, you know, it's very divisive. Like a lot of people like it, and a lot of people don't like it. But I've not seen the newest one, and I don't really have any immediate plans. Like I said, I'm just not really too big into Star Wars and whatnot. And it also just I'm not just not really big into just movies these days. Like I haven't really gone to the movies and whatnot and watched too many films in a while, especially just like newer cinema. Like I just haven't really had too much interest in. And last but not least, Flame Gamer Hotspot 2000 asks, are you a day person or a night person? I would say most of the time I'm a night person, but I'm definitely, like, I do appreciate, you know, waking up early and whatnot. Like it is a good feeling, but for the most part, you know, I am sort of a night person. I do like, you know, being active and doing things while, you know, everyone else is asleep, and you kind of have there is this you know, this feeling of like not really having distractions, or just like, oh, this is my time, no interruptions can come and whatnot. I do enjoy the nighttime, I suppose, but daytime, has its perks. Having light out and being able to do stuff and whatnot, like outside is nice, I guess. But for the most part, I would call myself a night person. But that's all the questions for this week, folks. Hopefully I've answered your questions well. Hopefully you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more Let's Play stuff, like, and whatnot. Right at the moment, I've got Hulk going up. But stay tuned for more. And next time, post questions below. I'll answer them next week. As always, post questions. Yes. Until next time, look it out.